Major funding for this program has been provided by a $2.23 grant from some guy who mistakenly thought this would be a worthwhile program.
I read the literature on your show. It says magical, dynamite, fabulous, enchanting, incredible. Why do you think those people are saying all those good things about you?
Because I'm 65 this year, and they're probably saying, let's give it to her now.
I think this could be it. I think people ought to really rush out and see this one. This is probably the last chance we'll ever get to see us together again.
If you look at what they do with the black actors, it is the staple of the thing is, well, if you're not going to act like a lower economic black person, or if you're not going to be the cause of the tension in the scene, then why are you in this movie?
But you've survived without using that.
I haven't done any movies either.
Good evening. That was Bill Cosby in a light yet serious moment touching on his role or lack of them in movies these days. Mr. Cosby and I sat down in front of a camera last month, and I walked away with what I think was a very interesting interview, not to mention a different point of view of one of America's funniest funny men. Also featured tonight will be a lady who's among the most respected in her profession, Miss Lena Horne. Plus, I'll let you see a recent bit of chaos between me and 4 members of the English comedy group Monty Python. I'll be right back with Lena Horne, so stay with us. Sitting close to her, I realized that beautiful grandmother of 5 is much stronger than all that stormy weather she's been singing about for so long, and there have been many storms for Lena Horne. Having her parents divorced when she was 3 years old, having to face the social mood of the 30s, 40s, and 50s while trying to sing and act professionally. Yet in May of 1981, she undertook a project that rocked Broadway back on its heels. Lena Horne, the Lady and Her Music. Last month, she brought her show to Gamage Center, and with her, she brought a little time to speak with me. One of the things we talked about was the kind of music that moves her most. What do you like best, music for the feet or for the heart?
I like music for feelings inside, you know. I mean, it can make you lonely if you're lonely. And it can make you happy if you're with somebody. Music has great power, and it can make you move. And it was so funny because my husband and I, my second husband and I adored Basie, and Basie has a great part in my career. It was impossible to keep your head still when you listen to Basie. It still is. You move this way, you move your head. It just goes, you know, it's that finger-popping music, and can't help but love that.
Horne was once forced to sing in hotels where she wasn't even allowed to stay the night or eat. Now she performs in large music halls, and she gets the royal treatment wherever she goes. With the gross receipts from a few of her performances, she may well be able to put hefty down payments toward buying some of those music halls. She's quite a lady indeed. Now, I'd say this is quite a lady, too, but it's not a lady. It's Michael Palin, 1/6 of the English group of crazies known as Monty Python. Palin, along with Eric Idle, Graham Chapman, Terry Jones, Terry Gilliam, and John Cleese got together back in 1969 and created a late-night TV show for BBC TV called Monty Python's Flying Circus. They aired 45 of those half-hour shows, and they gained worldwide acclaim because of them, or maybe despite them. 4 feature-length movies followed, and recently Monty Python's Meaning of Life was released. Recently, I flew to the coast. Whoops, the coast is that way, isn't it? Well, at any rate, I met 4 of the Pythons. I will never be the same. As you can see, serious answers are not among these guys' favorite things to give. What's next? Monty Python's Meaning of Life, or Monty Python's death? Is there anything on the drawing board?
I think the demise of Monty Python is probably the nearest thing.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
Well, you can see there's only 4 of us left. There's 2 missing, you see. Graham Chapman's not here. Oh, yes, he is. God heavens.
It's around somewhere.
Yes.
No, I think this could be it. I think people ought to really rush out and see this one, because it's probably the last chance we'll ever get to see us together again.
Do you think it's that bad?
Yes, I think it is probably one of the worst films ever made. I think it's a disgrace. We're all frightfully ashamed of it.
Disgusting it is.
And hopefully, with any luck, nobody will go and see it, because we don't want to be remembered.
Have you seen it yet?
Did you?
Well, no, I thought you'd seen it.
No, I was told that one of you had seen
You
it.
saw Eric, didn't you?
I saw it, but I didn't like it.
Yeah.
How does this concept come about? How did it come about?
Well, it was really greed and cupidity. It was really the main...
Cupidity? That's a wonderful word, Terry.
Yes, cupidity, yes.
Saturday morning, Los Angeles, the 12th of March.
Yes, and this basically, the desire for more money was sort of the main drive.
What were the creative things behind it? What happened?
That was it, I suppose.
Desire of large sums of money, I think.
Yes. And then we sort of started trying to write things, and we sort of started writing material, and just trying to get it...
gave up, didn't
Yes,
we?
exactly, yes. Gave up, and it wrote itself, I think, in the end.
Certainly a lot more went into it than that. What did? Please tell me.
It's a difficult film to talk about, actually, The Meaning of Life, because it's basically very, very dirty.
Now, sex. Sex. Where were we?
Most of it you couldn't put on television, or couldn't even describe on television. It's also fairly offensive, I would say, just to us, anyway.
As you can see, those guys really had my head spinning. And any of you who have ever seen any of their movies probably feel the same way. The guys from Monty Python have an unusual sense of humor. This guy's sense of humor, however, is along the more conventional lines. When we come back, Bill Cosby will share some of that humor and lots of his serious side. Now here's a little more of those dancing shoes.
We, the stand-up comedians of the world, are very, very special people. We are not allowed to practice what we want to be until we've left home, because if we practice what we want to become while we're at home, we get beat up, we get thrown out, and we get sent to the psychiatrist.
One of those funny but true statements from a man whose entire career has been built by the humorous absurdities in everyday life. 45-year-old William Henry Cosby just has a knack for that. Certainly you must have seen those absurdities early. Growing up in a Philadelphia ghetto, a 10th grade dropout who in 1976 earned his doctorate in education degree from the University of Massachusetts. But earning that degree probably didn't surprise many people. After all, he's taught most of us how to laugh at one time or another during a successful career. His 21 albums, 3 of them musical, have earned 7 gold records and 5 Grammy Awards. And Cosby holds the distinction of being the country's most recorded comedian.
I always wanted to get some calves' brains, keep them in my hand. My mother hit me in the head, I'd throw them on the floor. But knowing my mother, it wouldn't work. She'd put your brains back in your head. Did you let your brains fall out of your head? Have you lost your mind?
Cosby earned 3 Emmys as co-star of the 60s TV show I Spy. He now makes a reported $50,000 a concert when he's not busy making movies, doing cartoon shows, guest hosting The Tonight Show, or making tons of TV commercials.
The Tonight Show will return right after we pause for this brief commercial.
A full range of software cartridges. This is the one. Coke is it.
Moms, you know how the kids love Jell-O pudding, and you know it's made with fresh milk, so it's wholesome. And you haven't made Jell-O pudding for them since...
Last night.
Last what?
Want a computer with a lot of software. Oh, yeah, this is the one. New Jell-O pudding pops, new Jell-O pudding pops, new Jell-O pudding pops. This is the one they call the real thing. That's right. Look around, you'll see why Coke
Now recently, the father of 4 daughters was in the Valley for a show at the Registry Resort in Scottsdale. And although he was only in town overnight, he consented to a 5-minute interview with me. However, after going through 2 tapes, about 35 minutes worth, and an hour and a half of discussion, I realized this man not only likes to talk, but he takes what he says very seriously. Mr. Cosby, as you will see, is not only a gentleman, but he's a gentle man. What about I Spy? Do you think it'd sell today?
Oh, if Bob and I did it, maybe. But they've run I Spy many times, you know. Starsky and Hutch was I Spy. This new one with the cat with the mustache and his brother is I Spy.
But there was something a little more cerebral about what you
Well,
were
Bob and I mean, you can't, I don't think anybody could really beat the 2 of us for what we did. And Dorothy Lamour came and worked with us, and the poor woman just couldn't, I mean, she'd stop doing what she was doing in the middle of the thing and say, "You guys are just like Hope and Crosby." I remember, you know, and Boris Karloff. One of the great moments I had with Spy was we were in Spain. I will never forget, in Spain, and Boris Karloff sitting up front, riding with us. We're going back to the hotel. We finished shooting. Boris Karloff sitting up front. I'm sitting back here. Bob's sitting next to me, Spanish driver. And Boris's head is going like this in the car. And it is getting very dark, and we're out in the middle of the plains of Spain. And it's getting dark, and I said to Bob, you know, because Boris, I said, "Bob, if this dude turns around," I said, "I'm going to punch him dead in the face," because it really did. It started to get spooky, man.
Bill Cosby seems like a man who is very much at peace with himself and with the world around him. That despite having at one time to continually deal with the statement that he was the first black regular on a TV show when he starred on I Spy, a label that still seems to offend him.
I think we've grown up in so many areas except this one particular area, and that is the behavior towards human beings. Forget black, Asian, Native American. I'm just talking about plain up, straight. What are you? I'm Irish, Roman Catholic, Tide, Tep, fraternity, and the 2 of them look at each other and start punching. It's just behavior, people to people. We go places faster, quicker. We clean quicker, faster. We eat more, bigger, better. We dress warmer, cooler, smoother looking, you know. Yet that still has not improved. We still kill each other.
Bill Cosby can be described as a doctor, a comedian, actor, huckster, but if I were forced to pick one descriptive word that best fit him, I think it would be inspiration. Now, when we return, Mr. Cosby will have a final word, and I'll have a few myself, after a few words from our sponsor.
And then there are some great people. And the great ones that you meet, you just have to stick on to them, man. And you have to really give them, you have to say thank you to them because, not that they need it, but it's good for you to say that.
With that, Mr. Cosby, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you very much. And finally, I'd like to say that although Lena Horne, the Monty Pythons, and Bill Cosby come from diverse backgrounds and give to their audiences in very different ways, after talking to them, I found they're very much alike in one fundamental way. But I can't figure out what it is. Good night.
For a printed transcript of the preceding program, you will need paper, a typewriter, and an excellent memory.